Welcome to Chronicles of Humanity Stories. Homo Sapiens, out of Africa the Great.
Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered, where did we really come from? Not just our parents or grandparents, but our species. The story of us, Homo sapiens, is an epic saga stretching back hundreds of thousands of years. A journey of survival, innovation, and connection that has shaped every aspect of our world. It all begins not in a bustling city or a modern town, but on the sun-drenched grasslands of ancient Africa. Join me as we travel back in time to uncover the incredible story of how we conquered the planet. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, a new kind of being walked the African savanna. They were us, Homo sapiens, the first modern humans. What set us apart? It was the spark of something extraordinary. We had large, complex brains, hands that could craft with incredible dexterity, and the budding ability for complex thought. We weren't the strongest or the fastest creatures, but we were the smartest. We learned to shape stone into sharp tools, to harness the power of fire for warmth, cooking, and protection. And perhaps most importantly, we began to communicate through language. We could share knowledge, coordinate hunts, and build bonds within our small nomadic groups. Life was a constant dance of hunting, gathering, learning from our elders, and sharing experiences around a crackling fire under a vast, starlit sky. This was the cradle of humanity, where the foundations of everything we are today were first laid. But the spirit of Homo sapiens was never one to stay still. A deep-seated curiosity, a drive to see what lay beyond the next hill, pulsed within us. Around 60,000 years ago, driven by climate change, a desire for new resources. Or perhaps simple wanderlust, small bands of our ancestors embarked on the greatest journey in history. They began to migrate out of Africa. This wasn't a single organized march. It was a slow generational trickle across millennia. They traversed searing deserts, crossed formidable rivers, and navigated vast unknown plains. Their journey took them north into the Middle East, then fanning out east into Asia and west into Europe. But generation by generation, they pushed the boundaries of the known world, eventually reaching the distant shores of Australia. As our ancestors ventured into these new lands, they discovered they were not alone. The world was already inhabited by our ancient, mysterious cousins. In the cold forests and caves of Europe and Western Asia, they met the Neanderthals. In the highlands of Asia, they encountered the Denisovans. These weren't brutish, primitive beings. They were intelligent hominins who had adapted to their environments for hundreds of thousands of years. We competed with them for resources, but we also coexisted and, remarkably, we interbred. That's right, many of us today carry a small percentage of Neanderthal and Denisovan DNA in our genes. These ancient encounters weren't just a footnote in history. They had real consequences. This genetic inheritance may have helped our ancestors adapt to new challenges, providing crucial advantages like enhanced immunity to local diseases and better adaptation to cold climates and high altitudes. We are, in a very real sense, a mosaic of these ancient human encounters. As Homo sapiens spread across the continents, our ingenuity blossomed. We were no longer just making simple stone tools. We entered a period of incredible technological and cultural revolution. We invented sophisticated new tools like the bow and arrow and the spear thrower, which allowed us to hunt large game from a safe distance. We learned to build sturdier, more permanent shelters to withstand harsh weather. Our mastery of fire became more refined, a central element of our communities. But the most breathtaking leap was happening inside our minds. We began to think abstractly. Deep within caves, we painted stunning murals of animals and hunts, a vibrant window into our world. We crafted intricate jewelry from shells and bones and sculpted small, enigmatic figurines. These weren't just for survival. This was art. This was symbolism. This was the dawn of spirituality and complex culture. Our social structures also grew more sophisticated, with clear cooperation and division of labor making our hunting and gathering efforts more efficient than ever before. For millennia, this hunter-gatherer lifestyle defined us. But then, around 12,000 years ago, as the last ice age receded, and the earth grew warmer and wetter, another profound revolution began to unfold in multiple places around the world. From the Fertile Crescent to China to the Americas, humans started to experiment with a new way of life. We began to farm. Instead of just gathering wild plants, we learned to cultivate them, to sow seeds and harvest crops like wheat, rice, and corn. We also began to domesticate animals, goats, sheep, cattle, providing a stable source of food, milk, and labor. This was the agricultural revolution, and it changed everything. For the first time, we could settle down. We built permanent villages, then towns. We developed new technologies like pottery to store our surplus food and weaving to create textiles for clothing. Life was no longer a constant search for the next meal. We could plan for the future, and our communities grew larger and more complex, developing rich social and religious customs. This shift from nomadic life to settled farming laid the groundwork for civilization itself. With permanent settlements and a surplus of food, human society took its next giant leap, around 5,000 to 6,000 years ago. In the fertile valleys of great rivers like the Tigris, Euphrates, Nile, and Indus, the first states began to emerge. Places with names that echo through history. Sumer in Mesopotamia, ancient Egypt, the Harappan civilization. To manage these growing populations and complex economies, we needed a new tool, perhaps the most powerful invention of all: writing, with symbols etched into clay tablets and painted on papyrus. We could now record our history, codify our laws, document our rituals, and pass down knowledge with perfect accuracy. This was the beginning of recorded history. Grand cities rose from the earth, complete with monumental palaces, towering temples, and complex irrigation systems that turned arid land into fertile fields. Technology exploded with inventions like the wheel, the plow, and metallurgy. The small, scattered bands of Homo sapiens had now built intricate, organized civilizations. From that point forward, the pace of change has only accelerated. We built empires that spanned continents, connected by roads and trade routes. We explored every corner of our planet, crossing vast oceans and climbing the highest mountains. We looked to the skies, charted the stars, and eventually we left our world behind. Setting foot on the moon, we created breathtaking art, literature, and music that speaks to the deepest parts of the human soul. We developed science, unlocking the secrets of the universe, from the smallest atom to the vastness of the cosmos. Our incredible brains and our unique capacity for collective learning have transformed us from a small group of African primates into a globally interconnected species of nearly 8 billion people. We can communicate instantly with someone on the other side of the planet and access the accumulated knowledge of all our ancestors with the click of a button. So, the story of Homo sapiens is the story of an unbelievable journey. It's a journey from a handful of hunter-gatherers in Africa, across every continent on Earth. It's a story of encountering ancient relatives and carrying their legacy within our own DNA. It's a story of constant innovation from the first stone tool to the smartphone in your hand. It's the story of building villages, then cities, then a global civilization. Every step of this journey, every challenge overcome, has been powered by our intelligence, our creativity, and our relentless perseverance. It's a story that has made us the dominant species on this vibrant, beautiful planet. And it's a story that is still being written by every single one of us, every single day. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey through our shared past. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please give this video a thumbs up. And do not forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss our next adventure into history. See you next time.